What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to attempt to use the KLR and make a little tips slash tutorial video of things you can do or things you can practice on the pavement or in your yard that will result in better off-road skills. So I do feel like there are plenty of things you can do outside of a certain scenario to gain an advantage in a certain scenario, and this is one of them. Practicing, like I said, you can practice in an empty parking lot, you can practice in your driveway if it's big enough, in your yard, so that when you make it to the trail, you might have a slight better advantage than if you hadn't took that time to practice. It's just going out and riding roads and commuting, it's seat time, but if it's not focused, then I really don't see you gaining anything of it once you get to a certain level. If you're just starting out, then yeah, any seat time is going to tremendously help you. But once you've understood the basics and you're comfortable commuting on the road, commuting at that point doesn't really bid you anything, doesn't help you out. I mean, it could help you out small scale, but you're not going to see any vast improvements in any other areas of riding. So we're going to go out to a field behind my house that I mowed the other day. Just dusty, dirty field. I've got fence posts out there, just random fence posts in the field, and we're going to set this 1 gallon orange juice jug up because the fence posts like 30 feet apart. We're going to run figure eights. While doing that, I'll talk a little bit about it. We're going to set up the figure eight to where it's roughly 10 to 12 feet, no more than 12 feet. If you need more room than that, then by all means take it. And then as I'm recording myself running the figure eight, I'll talk more about it. And then I've got some variations of the figure eight, which we'll do as well. So let's get to it.
Alright, so anyway, it's real bright out today, so hopefully you're not too blinded. I'll point out some things as we're about to get set up here that may or may not be known. For all intents and purposes, stock KLR, nothing special about it, nothing special about me. I'm really short, 5'7". I'm really light, 160 pounds with no gear. It is very wet and muddy. I had forgot about that. Dadgummit, I forgot about the fact that I did not actually mow around my fence post. Alright, we're going to time warp. Don't worry about it. I think I might have lied to you. We're not time warping. I'm not going back for the other jug. Okay, I lied to you. We didn't time warp. I didn't feel like going back to get another jug. This is our figure eight. Now, like I said, I don't have a tape measure with me, but 2 bike lengths, give or take a foot. So, not a huge figure eight. But I mean, you won't be bumping into your turning markers by no means. You'll be swinging around them. So one thing I'd like to point out is that the goal of this would be to, and you'll have to excuse the dog barking in the background, he will not stop. One of the main goals is to not swing these turns any wider on the exit than you do on the entrance. So for example, if you enter a turn and you're 5 feet away from the jug, for example, when you exit on the other side, you need to also be 5 feet away. So you're wanting to maintain the same radius around the jug or the stick. Because you can put these a foot apart, and as long as you swing wide enough, you'll always cross in between them. So that's not the goal. The goal is to maintain. So it doesn't matter what size circle you have to make. You just want to maintain that. And to do this, starting out, sitting down, standing up, whatever you're most comfortable with. But you're going to be having to use your clutch control, throttle control, front or brake control. Use it all, and then handicap yourself as you get better, and you practice it and get better at it. I'm running 50/50 tires, Shinko, I don't know, 705s I think they are, 805, 804, 705, 704, whatever they are, the 50/50 tire. So I don't have full on knobbies. It's kind of muddy, but it'll be alright. Like I said, you want to exit and enter at the same radius, so I'll probably attempt to go full lock, and at full lock I would expect to run 4 feet, which would be an 8-foot diameter turning radius, and then hopefully I can pull that off. We'll see. So I'm 2-finger on the clutch, index and middle finger, and so my front tire, again, around 4 feet away from the bucket, and around 4 feet away from the bucket upon exiting. And then cross through as close to center as possible, about 4 feet away from the stick, and then going pretty much full lock and about 4 feet away from the stick upon exiting. Same thing. Try to cross between the bucket and the stick on a good central, midpoint between the two. And I'm just going super slow. I do have a 16-tooth sprocket, front sprocket, so I am having to ride the clutch a lot. And I'm steering, and I botched it. I was about to say I'm steering way out in front of the bike, to my left in that case, so that hopefully y'all could see the clutch action. And because of that, I wasn't actually focused on the clutch, so I screwed up. But I would say your goal would be to get to where you can make 5 full laps of this figure 8, successful laps that, like I said, you do not swing wider on the exit than you did on the entry. Would be what I would call a successful lap. And you do not have to put a foot down. And you don't do what I did and just have to pull out mid-turn because you lost your balance. Now, I've just moved to a 3-finger grip on my clutch. That is because these bikes have a cable clutch, and I'm a pansy. My first 2 fingers are getting tired. Now, after you feel like you've gotten good at this, the figure 8 doesn't have to end. For you might have them further apart than this. I would really recommend going no narrower than this, 2 bike lengths. If you're going 2 bike lengths and you're going as slowly as I'm going, then you're not going to benefit from having them any closer together, because I'm pretty much full lock at each turn to be able to hold the same entry and exit distance from the turning obstacle. So I'm full lock, so there's no sense in me pulling these obstacles any closer together. However, what you can do is continue your turn for more than 180 degrees. So what you can do is figure out where your figure 8 crosses. And where your figure 8 crosses, we're going to put a 3rd obstacle. I just had something, a piece of a cinder block, and I threw it away. Dadgummit. We'll put this rock so we can see after multiple laps this is our cross point on a straight line between the two obstacles. So when we make our left-hand turn, we're going to maintain that turn long enough to come between the rock and the obstacle. So effectively taking our 180 degree turn and having to swing it a few more degrees. So also, if you swing your turn wide on the exit, or if you cut it too narrow on the entry and then end up swinging it wide on the exit, then it becomes really difficult to come inside of the rock. Alright? So once you've gotten pretty good at the figure eight, then you can add this third obstacle in the middle. I would say don't bother adding the third obstacle until you've moved the two corners obstacles in all the way. So yeah, that forces me to keep that turn going for quite a bit longer. I'm not going to swing any wider on my entry than I had been. I'm running over the same tire tracks that I had made without the third obstacle there, but it forces me to hold this turn full lock for another 90 degrees to come inside that rock. So definitely making this harder, without a doubt. But again, constantly just using the clutch, and I'm trying to maintain a straight face, which is difficult, so that y'all can see the clutch action. So here I'm sitting down on the seat as opposed to standing. And if I hear one comment about having shorts on, I'm going to be pissed. It is 101 degrees and 85% humidity, and it's not raining. So it is hot. So there you go. I think that was 5 laps, 4 laps, something like that. And hopefully you will be able to, at some point, I can maybe zoom in on it and show you the clutch control and also the brake control. Whoa! Lost my jug and caught it with my butt cheeks. Y'all ain't gonna believe that. Bam!
Alright, so we're back in the garage after filming the tutorial. Hopefully the footage will turn out okay. I had a 2-camera setup plan, and I was never able to get the second camera positioned worth the crap where you could see the clutch. And then I thought, well, I'll just do the second camera facing back at me, and I realized there's no advantage for you looking at my face while all this was going on, so I just ditched the 2-camera setup, stuck with the one. And then I was going to do the tripod setup where you can see the whole thing in action, but I just didn't. So anyway, you got 1 camera, and that's it. So hopefully that it's enough. Also, afterthoughts for doing this drill would be, if it's the first time you're trying it, or if you don't feel that comfortable with it, maybe you set your turning obstacles about 12 feet apart and you're just not getting it, scoot them out. Maybe go 15 feet, 18 feet, 20 feet, whatever it takes. But what I would recommend doing is, as you move them further apart, increase your turning radius. So I was entering and exiting my turn roughly 4 feet away from my turning obstacle, so an 8-foot diameter turning radius, which was pretty much full lock on the handlebars. If you increase the distance between your turning obstacles, absolutely increase your turning radius. You know, don't go full lock, and don't be afraid to. You know, just scoot it out. You know, enter your turn 6 feet away from your obstacle. But however far you are away from it when you start turning, that's how far you need to be away from it when you exit. You need to attempt to maintain that turning radius, which will force you to focus on the clutch, the brake, and the balance. Whereas if you just enter and exit the turn and you're not concerned with maintaining a radius, then you're not going to be concerned with having the throttle control and the clutch control nearly as much. So your only concern then would be not falling over. So you're definitely focusing on maintaining a consistent distance away from your turning obstacle. So definitely don't be afraid to move those turning obstacles further apart from each other. But as you do that, I would suggest also making a greater radius. And then as you move those obstacles closer together, approaching that 12 feet, you know, which is just a little more than 2 bike lengths really. As you approach the shorter distance, you're going to be forced to tighten up your turning radius. You'll have no choice if you want to successfully make a lap. Successfully, in my eyes, being maintaining that radius and then also crossing the center of your 2 turning obstacles in the middle. So you're not swinging wide and getting really close to the next obstacle and then forcing that one to be wide as well. So if they're 12 feet apart, the point in the middle, the 6 foot mark, you want to cross that in both directions every time. And then at some point when you get more comfortable, you put an obstacle there which will force you to come in another foot as you turn, which, like I said in the video, will force you to maintain that turning radius for another 90 degrees or so of turning. So really force you to hold that circle for a lot longer. The only way to do any better than that would be to just ride circles around one obstacle, and I get dizzy pretty easy, so I'm not doing that. But hopefully this drill was helpful to you. There's no doubt in my mind that if you go out and try this and you're not successful, which means you do need to work on it. You need to work on the clutch control, the brake control, the balance, sitting and standing. If you achieve this goal of what I just did, then there's no doubt in my mind you will somehow be better for it on the other end. It's not going to turn you into a motocrosser, but one day when you're out on the trail with your buddies, you'll notice it. I can assure you. So anyway, hopefully it was helpful. Let me know. I've got a couple more things up my sleeve like this that I might be able to think of, again, to help with brake control. I've got 1 or 2 that I'm thinking up just to try to help with balance, and kind of taking the brake and the clutch and throttle control out of the equation. And but anyway, yeah, let me know what you think about it. Like, share, subscribe. If you hate it, you hate it. It ain't for you. But I really think a lot of newer beginner riders, and then also people who are getting back into it at this adventure stage where the bikes are a lot bigger and heavier than they were 20 years ago. I really feel, sorry I got a phone call there, cut my video short. So yeah, bikes used to not be this big and heavy, or if they were, they weren't meant to go off-road. So I really feel like having these off-road skills and having your balance where they need to be on these big heavy bikes, so you know, it really helps you. So if you're getting back into riding, this could definitely be beneficial for you as well, or if you're just beginning. So yeah, like I said, hope that was helpful to you, hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time.